All right, so it has been 2 weeks since the Delaware Marathon, but rest and recovery has been short-lived because now we are less than 4 weeks out from the Mohican 100-miler, which means it is time to get back to the grind and start trying to prepare these legs to make it across 100 miles through the Mohican wilderness. Of course, as we get back to training, don't know if you can see, but it is pouring rain, gale force winds. Wouldn't have it any other way, I guess, to get ready for the grind, but got to get back to it.
The pain inside, don't wanna feel it. Yeah. So I pour up inside my cup and I just sip till I can't feel it. Ooh. I know it won't solve my problem, but I know it makes a difference. One more sip and I'ma fix it. Out my body when I'm tempted. I told her one more, she hear me say you quit or she dipping. Yeah, yeah. I don't want pain no more. I don't want no more pain. I can go see no way. Look at that with no pain. See the rain coming down, but it is not purple today. Came a long way from stacking and rolling.
We are a little bit past way. I am hiding behind this wall to hopefully shield the mic and myself from the wind and rain. Run is going good so far. I am very excited to be running back with the wind at my back. I've been running the whole thing so far with the wind in my face, which has been brutal. I just started a new split on my watch just to see what my pace is coming out as opposed to going back in with the wind at my back are, but great run so far. I think this is an important reminder that you can't change the weather, but you can choose to ignore it.
Out my body when I'm tempted. I told her one more, she hear me say you quit or she dipping. Yeah, let me do my thing. Got them greens and pinks and blues, I'll give my kids a change. Don't call me a sit for none unless you do the same. I wanna catch as fast as that and I don't do no range. Yeah. All I ever wanted was some millions. All I ever wanted was some children. Then I got 4 of them kids and now we chillin'. Nothing's real. Pain inside, don't wanna feel it. So I pour up inside my cup and I just sip till I can't feel it. Ooh. I know it won't solve my problem, but I know it makes a difference. One more sip and I'ma fix it. Out my body when I'm tempted. I told her one more, she hear me say you quit or she dipping.
We are wrapped 12.5 miles in just about 2 hours. The weather actually cleared up a bunch on the ride back, so not as much of a tailwind pushing me forward as I expected, but great run. Glad I got out and did it. I will join you back inside, showered, drier, warmer, to talk a little bit more about Mohican, planning, what's coming up, and everything that's going on in my brain right now. Cheers, y'all. We are inside, we are warm, we are feeling much better than I did out on that run. Oh my God, that was rough. Just brutally cold winds hitting me in the face. Luckily, it did clear up quite a bit on the run back, but the pace on the way out was about a 9:55 mile average running into that 40-mile-an-hour headwind on the run back, even without the tailwind, because like I said, the wind cleared up quite a bit, still running at an average of a 9:10 pace, so substantially faster at a relatively consistent effort, but a great run. We are now less than 4 weeks away from the Mohican 100-miler. I know there's a lot to do and not a lot of time. Obviously, less than 4 weeks is definitely not much time. Really just enough time for a couple weeks of kind of strong training, transition training from marathon into trail running. But then really I'm right back in the taper. So trying to take advantage as much as I can of the next 2 weeks, especially to log some significant mileage. Gonna try to get upstate onto some mountain trails this weekend for kind of one last long duration trail effort. More just to mentally prepare, also get my legs on some trails, which they haven't done done in quite some time, and really just do what I can to maintain fitness and prepare my mind for the 100 miler. I think going into the race this year, obviously if you followed along last year, went into the race with a lot of confidence. I think too much confidence after having run our first ultra marathon in 2020, the Bandera 100K, and having that race go just incredibly well. Honestly, could not have gone better. I think just went into Mohican without ever experiencing the low lows that you can hit on those long duration trail efforts, and we certainly hit them that day. So going in much humbler this year and just expecting to struggle to kind of push through and really just focusing on moving forward, not focusing on speed at all, not focusing on any specific times, but just setting realistic pacing goals and taking it one section at a time, and just focusing on one foot in front of the other, knocking off distance little by little throughout that 32-hour period, and hoping to cross that finish line and earn that belt buckle this year. I know it's going to be a grind. I think right now, apart from the training, a lot of what's left is just the details of the planning. I've got to go back in. One of the nice things about having this YouTube channel is I'm going to go back through and watch some of my planning videos from last year just to kind of remind myself of all the gear, the strategy that went into it, etc. Since I don't have as much time to mentally prepare for this race as I did last year, but just to try to get back on that level again, going through every lap, every loop, every segment, make sure I have my food lined up, my hydration plan, all the gear that I need, etc. I've been ordering a lot of that stuff just to make sure I've got everything I could possibly need day of the race, and going over it as much as I can in my head to hopefully avoid as many unknowns on race day as possible. So obviously anything can happen during a 100 miler. It is a long run. I think we're expecting it to take probably close to the 32 hours. If we could get in between like 28 to 30 hours, that would be amazing. I think we're going to start out trying to average like 7 hours on the loops, between 7 and 8 hours. Again, significantly slower than last year, but also faster than the cutoff times. But just wanting to take it slow, but also bank a little bit of time just in case something goes wrong during that third or fourth loop, or we start moving significantly slower. We'd like to have a little bit of time banked, but obviously last year we went out. I was actually just talking to Tim from last year. He was looking at our splits. We were running like a sub 12-minute mile, or around a 12-minute mile for the whole first loop, which is insane. 12-minute miles with all the elevation on trails for 27 miles is just wild, and that certainly came back to bite us in the ass. So planning to take it significantly slower, much easier, especially early on. I think during the first and second loop particularly, because it's going to be hot, the sun's going to be out, making sure that we are just conserving energy so that we have energy, have some fuel left in the tank once the sun goes down and once it gets much harder to move forward in those overnight hours. But again, this is completely unknown territory. We only made it 54 miles last year. That's only 2 loops, so hoping to increase that a little bit this year, but we will see how it goes. Just ultimately very, very excited for this race. Nervous for sure, but just can't wait to get out there. So gonna start shifting the focus of these training videos towards Mohican. Not a lot of time, but we are up for the challenge, and I hope you will join us along for the ride. So thanks for tuning in. If you are still around and you don't already, I hope you will click that subscribe button. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up as well to help other folks find it, and I will see you out on the trails. Cheers.